activator, and human MRI. So, welcome to my TV show called My Spiritual GPS. And today is this whole month is all about abundance, right? So, again, today is how to unblock your potential in changing times. So we know that recently the governor ordered a shutdown again, and therefore a lot of the business owners are scrambling around trying to figure out what to do, accommodating the different changes. And so we want to make sure you are in a good place. So this TV show is really good for people who have a team, for people that they know where they are and they know where they want to go by the end of this year. However, there are some baggages and clutter in the middle, right? And they just don't know how to turn aside from all this uncertainty that's happening in the world. So I have invited a very special guest today on our show, Miss Michelle Hoffman. So let me bring her in to make sure everyone is seeing her beautiful, lovely face. All right, hold on. Awesome. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Miss Michelle Hoffman.
Vivian, thank you for having me.
Yes, Michelle. Thank you for being here with us. So let me just give you a little bit about Michelle here. So she is called the Engagement Whisperer. She is known for employee engagement of 120%, increased client base up to, I don't know how many percent this is, but I'm sure it's a lot.
200%.
Flawless change management and 10 times return on investment in any economy. Aha! How does she do that, right? So she gets the CEO, she helps your CEOs, if you're a CEO or you are a manager, a supervisor, an HR manager, to get to your zone of genius and increase your income by helping your new or seasoned managers develop high-performing teams, yes, so that they are actually engaged in line with your vision, and so they know exactly and clearly what to do, and they're happy doing their job, right? So how many of us have been triggered with this pandemic that they're kind of not happy? It's either they're afraid, they're uncertain, they don't know where to go. And so Michelle is here to educate us and enlighten us on how to bring about unblocking your team's potential in this changing time. So welcome, Michelle. And I know you're also an author, a speaker, and so you're going to share all those lovely, lovely goodies with us today. So I'm excited.
I am very happy to do that. And for any of you who stay with me, we'll give you the contact information. I'll actually share a gifted copy of my new international bestseller with you.
Yoo-hoo! Awesome.
So abundance begins at the beginning.
Yes, abundance it is. So how have you experienced abundance, Michelle, as a management coach?
As a management coach, I feel so fortunate to experience abundance. And it's abundance in different ways. There's the obvious financial abundance, because when you enter a business relationship with someone, there is a give and take. That's part of the economic agreement there. So, of course, I've experienced financial abundance as a result of being a management coach. The real joy in that is actually seeing what kind of abundance I can share with the organization that's hiring me. And that means not just the business meeting its mission and vision, but the alignment of all that goes into creating and succeeding in that. And that's actually my big, that's where I spark the light, which is how I've become the spark the light lady. And for calling me the engagement whisperer.
Right.
But that abundance starts really in the talent that you've got there in the organization. And I can help businesses uncover talent and revenue that may have been seeping and leaking out, but it's already there.
Right.
So establishing career trajectories that are in line with the individuals and the values that they bring into the workplace is really where things begin, because that's the talent that represents the organization.
Exactly. And And for small business owners, how does this work for us small business owners, right? Because are you working more with just corporations that are like more than 100 employees? Like, what's your ideal market?
So, in reality, Vivian, I have worked with startups and small
Mm,
businesses, entrepreneurs, because they need to put the structure in place
yeah,
so much in alignment, just like, you teach the energy and the chakra alignment. And
right.
think of it this way. I mean, super simple. If you were going to try and pick up a heavy object, would you
Yes.
reach out and keep it far from you and try and lift that weight? Or
Mm-mm.
would you bring it into you and then
Yes.
connect your entire alignment and then lift it up? So
Yeah.
that's really how it works in any industry, in any business. And I have worked with small businesses, mid-sized businesses. I've got a client who's got two freestanding medical clinics, but I've also worked with the really huge wealth advisors and
Mhm.
hospital institutions,
Awesome.
because each system has its own subsystems that just, when you get them in alignment,
Yeah.
everything flows with grace and ease. So the abundance comes financially, it comes in relationships, it also comes in the sense of self, because
Hmm.
when you've got that in alignment, wow, you can
Yeah.
make huge things happen. The
Definitely.
self-confidence and the self-worth, those are all ways that I bring abundance and experience it myself, but I also share it with my clients.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that recently we just finished our Up Level 2020 last Friday,
Yeah.
and you can see some of the clients there because we had it live and we had it also online, right? And it's interesting that when we were breaking down our teams, like how I kind of went from where I was to where I have become at present, that was
Yeah.
very short, right? Within like 6, 7 months. And we were able to bring the revenue very, very quickly, right? Because of the team, because everyone had their own specialty in their genius zone, whatever their genius zone is. And the CEO in alignment with the vision of the company, and then communicating that clearly with other teammates, because then they can do their own zone of genius without me interfering in the middle, right? Therefore, we had some growth and expansion because of that. So obviously, um, you guys can go to uplevel2020.com because you can see what we really bring about for small business owners there. And Michelle is right. If you don't have alignment, you don't have alignment with yourself, let's say, or your higher purpose, or even the vision of what you want to create, then there's really no reference point, right? Like they could be everywhere and scattered. And that's what Michelle was sharing with us. So thank you, Michelle, for that clarification. So, how can you please give us some examples of how this alignment and abundance, right? So, what happens when you uncover your teammates' talent? Maybe, yeah.
So,
What happens with that? Like, share
right.
us some results of your clients.
So, just as you were talking with the Up Level 2020, it's really all about doing the right things right. And when
Mm,
you have an opportunity to create a team from scratch, for example, you can identify the right talents in
yes.
that portfolio of employees that you need to achieve the goal.
Hmm.
And when you have an existing team, then it's an honor to be welcomed into a team of that stature who knows how to work together to make it happen. And I say on a team, it's important to stretch your strengths and
Mm,
strengthen your weaknesses for proper balance. And that's what we're trying to do. Every single person brings the values into their workday with them. And when those are aligned with the mission and vision of the team's goals, the department goals, and the
mhm,
company's goals, it makes success inevitable. Every
mm,
action then becomes inevitable. So what I do is I check and see what's going on, and we find a starting point. Is it the company goal? Is it the company goal to increase the client base? And in a wealth advisory company, I think you were referring to it earlier, they were asking, how do we increase the number of clients that we are here to serve? And ultimately, what we did was we found an entirely new channel for them to reach out to clients who wouldn't have otherwise had access to their portfolio of business. And then that increased the client base 200%.
Nice. That's amazing. I
Right.
mean, it's true because you're coming from the outside and they're already in the mix. And so they probably couldn't see. They're like inside the bottle, so they can't really
Right.
do any prescription for themselves, right? Because they can't even read the label from inside the bottle.
They can't read the label from inside the bottle. Exactly. And there was a company that I had talked to about how it's really hard to do business with you. And companies like to wait. They like to
Oh,
wait. And
uh-huh.
sometimes they wait until it's a crisis. And if you can afford to do that, that's great. But if you don't feel like you can afford to wait till it's a crisis, then
Yep.
that's the trigger to reach out to me a little bit sooner. So it took a year for this business
Wow.
owner to reach out to me.
Mm.
And she actually called me saying, I need help because I'm experiencing high turnover in my business. And we
Wow.
all know
Mm.
recruiting, hiring, training, qualified, engaged staff is, and
Yes.
onboarding them is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
she asked me and invited me in,
Mm.
and I said, "Sure, I can help you with this." And I got an opportunity to interview everyone in her company. It was a medium-sized business. It was very easy for me, as you were saying, outside the bottle,
Mm-hmm.
to gain the insight that she couldn't from a
Mm.
different perspective. And
Yeah.
their concerns were totally handleable. So we put together, in this case,
Mm.
we put together 2 workshops to up-level the manager's skills and create cohesiveness across the entire organization so everyone
Mhm.
was on the same page. And one of my favorite exercises was to streamline operations, which then increases the profit margin by decreasing the operating expenses. So it's learning to work in an organization by pressing which levels can you push up, which ones do you put down, and when. That's going to make your organization more effective at achieving your goals. So in this
Mm.
situation, I had the owner of the business hold a ball of yarn, and she held one end. And I
Mhm.
said, "How does a prospect even know about your business?" She says, "Oh, we have a website." I said, "Who manages your website?"
Who looks at the website?
Well, no one in the company raised their hand.
Oh my
And
God.
so finally, one woman said, "Well, I've seen it." I said, "Throw the ball of yarn to her."
Mm.
So I said, "Is there any way someone who approaches your website can transform into a customer?" They said, "No." I'm like, "What
Wow.
can they do?" Well, they
Uh,
can get our phone number. I said, "Okay, hold one piece of that yarn, throw it back to the business owner in the center of her company."
mm.
I said, "Now you have to wait till business hours and it has to be convenient. And then you make the phone call. And
Mhm.
who in this business would pick up the phone?" And every single employee raised their hand. I thought,
Oh.
oh my God.
Everybody will pick up the
Imagine how much would you love your job if every time the phone rang, you'd be like, "Oh, do I have to stop my thought and break my concentration?" Or if you're
phone.
working with a client, and it's like, oh boy. So I'm like, who's most likely to get the phone first?
Yep. Mm.
Please throw the ball of yarn to her. Well, we continued this yarn process
Mhm.
until that prospect became a client. And it became very, very clear that every single person needed to touch the prospect before they become a client.
Oh wow.
And that makes it hard for customers to do business with you. And this is how I lay out the cycle of service. And we do it either from the customer's perspective or even an internal customer, which is your colleagues, and how you all work interpersonally and who's doing what. How do you reduce the redundancies in the operations? Like this was an abundant case.
Mhm.
streamlined those processes. I, of course, had the work done on my PowerPoint, but I needed them to come up with it on their own. We
Right.
we made it a one-stop shop for prospects to become clients, and voila, everyone enjoyed their job a whole lot more.
Very good. Yeah, because there was no confusion,
Right. And
right? It
people
it
want to
starts
do
with
that.
their, of course, their organizational board. If everybody, like you said, is the receptionist, well, is there a title for the receptionist? Is there
Right.
somebody who would take in the client to figure out what they need, so then they can actually move them to the next person who would actually provide those needs, so to speak, right? So they're, in other words, they're making the sale very, very hard because they have so many offers, just kind of like Dr. Angela Loria taught us, right? If you have too many offers, is she the money coach? Is she the relationship coach? Is she the health coach? But then she's everywhere. I was like that in the beginning. I was everything. So then they're like, "What do you specialize again?" Because they couldn't find me.
Right.
Versus now, I just go, I'm a number one money magnet activator. So then if you have money problems, I will be your person to go to. So then they can see that, right? Because it's so clear. That's my lighthouse. And then,
Right.
of course, they have other problems, which I can also help solve. Therefore,
Absolutely.
it's easy once they're in your pipeline, so to speak, right?
Right.
That's in that process. So thank you for that. That was a very good exercise, yarn exercise.
Yarn
Moving back
exercise.
and forth, and then they're like, the yarn is entangled, right? At the end, I'm sure that's what's happening. Because like, is this mine or yours? Yours? I think it's mine. I think it's
Right.
yours.
And it makes it very visually clear.
Yes.
And we did that same exercise on a very large hospital system.
Oh my goodness. That's
And they're a lot happier patients now as a result of going through that system. But that's just the thing. And just for fun, we
yeah.
figured out how many millions of dollars it cost her to wait the year
Uh-huh.
to reach out to me and ask for the help and guidance. Of
Wow.
course,
Yeah.
she could do it on her own, but it was going to take her a lot longer and it was going to be a
Yes.
lot more expensive.
I think that's what they call the Lone Ranger syndrome. And a lot of entrepreneurs
Mm.
or CEOs, I mean, think about it, right? If you're already making millions of dollars, you think you don't need help. But if you have money leaks or it's bleeding, you are actually wasting more money if you don't have a mentor or coach to help you, like, see those little leaks, or maybe big leaks if it's millions of dollars that she is losing, instead
Right.
of gaining and helping more people underneath her, underneath her watch.
So
Okay,
you're
so
totally right, Vivian, because those leaks are real.
they
And I
are,
would say,
yeah.
if you want, I'll tell you like the 5 main reasons
Mm-hmm.
that companies are just sieving their revenue, the
Mm,
5 big mistakes. And if you want, I'll tell you
okay, yeah, share it with us. What are those five
right
things?
now, like in this current environment, the
Yes.
5 big mistakes. We all know we were told 10 years ago to do more with less.
Mm,
We are doing a lot more with a lot less right now. So I
mm,
would say that was number one. And I can help you through any of these challenges,
yes,
super simple.
right.
Um, and there's so many organizations that are laying off employees. And
Mm,
oftentimes they'll lay off the people who have the largest salary, so they're not impacting most people. But they
mm,
aren't necessarily considering who's going to be leading the charge as a result.
mm.
So, and then on top of that, we are working remotely now.
Yes.
So what's happening is we're getting a lot of first-time managers in a first-time environment without the role models. And we're
Wow.
working remotely. So the way things were done before aren't going to be the way things that are done now.
Totally. Totally changing. Yes.
So much uncertainty with the working remotely scenario. And everybody's got fear and overwhelm and all of the things that were
Stress,
work-life
stress.
balance,
Yes.
stress, are now happening in our living room with our partners there, with our children there.
Yes.
And we're now the homeschoolers
Mm,
and the adorable pets who are like, hooray, you're home, let's play. And the food in the kitchen. It's
yes.
all there. You don't get the luxury of commuting to an office and closing a door so that you
Mm,
can focus on something anymore.
mhm.
So doing more with less, working remotely, first-time managers in a first-time environment with no role models to establish the culture creates an environment that's lacking engagement. And engagement is up at about 70% right now because we're so distracted by everything going on. And that means 7 cents on the dollar might not be going toward the efforts that you're really trying to achieve. And how do you turn that around? Is
Mm-hmm.
how do you align the efforts to make success inevitable? It's exactly what we're talking about. So
Exactly.
with 20% unemployment rates, we're doing more with less. We're doing it from our homes. We're doing it as first time managers or seasoned managers in a first time environment. And
Mhm.
we are worried.
Yeah, and the motivation, I'm sure nowadays, because even I'm talking to some of my friends and my family members that work in a big corporation, their motivation level is not very high. I can tell you that
Right.
because of
And
the
there's,
lack of engagement. That's one, and I'm sure there's other factors when you're socially distanced from each other, right?
right.
Because you can't be connected like you were socially in the past. And if you're one of those people that like that physical interaction, because you can see the body language
Right.
better, how do you pivot that? How do you shift that, right? It's a mindset shift, it's a paradigm shift, and it's not even over. We're,
No,
we're just beginning our early stages of change. And you know
right.
how our brain doesn't love change. Like our ego and our brain says, don't do that because it's dangerous. If you start
Right.
doing digital and online type of work, well, this is the way, this is majority of what's happening right now. Any other challenges that you notice these entrepreneurs and CEOs are facing nowadays?
So you're actually, I can name all of them, and they're all leading up to one thing, and I'll tell you what
Mm,
that is. Because they're feeling disconnected. We're feeling lonely and alone and isolated. We're
right.
feeling like we're moving through the routine in our life, but now it's a new groove. We don't even know what it's supposed to be.
Mm,
We aren't enthusiastic about getting out of bed because, as you were saying, our brain says, just stay in bed and watch Netflix because this worked yesterday. Let's do it again today.
yes. Yes.
When we're not fully there, like, and the decisions that we make impact other people's lives, we get really worried. And the
Mm,
weight of that becomes overwhelming. We're not living the life we had dreamed that we had visualized we would be. And maybe we even had that. But now this is a whole new situation and we are concerned.
mm,
There's love gone, there's laughter gone, relationships have changed, and
mhm.
we can't connect the way we used to. But there's more to life, and you're like not even sure of how to get there anymore because the whole constraints and parameters have changed.
Right.
And everything you said leads up to one thing, and
Mm,
that is communication.
wow.
And you were talking about verbal communication, nonverbal communication, how we connect, and now how we're connecting is very different.
Yes.
And virtual communications give us content, but it doesn't always give us context. So we need to fill in the blanks and learn a whole new set of superpowers to
Mm,
understand
mm,
the context so that we have the confidence and competence to make the right decisions for
mhm,
ourselves, for our employees, for our families, and know beyond the shadow of a doubt that
mhm.
we are making decisions with a clear path and the light is shining on it with every decision that we make. And it all comes down to communication and
True.
building your advisory board.
Yes. So I know for small business owners, what is the advisory board for? Do they really need it? So I want to shift it back to the small business owners. Maybe they're just starting a business. So what if they cannot afford yet to hire an advisory board? How would that
Great.
look like for them?
So there's a couple of things here. I'm actually building an organization called the advisory board that small businesses can tap into so that
Hmm.
they can Pick and choose the subject matter experts that they need, and I'll explain to you what that is.
Okay.
As you're just starting out, you really kind of need to bootleg on your own. And
Mm.
it's really important to understand what your superpowers are so that you
Yes.
can put them out there. And like I said,
Mm.
stretch your strengths and go outside your comfort zone just one little step at a time to continue to build without growing pains. And
Mm.
that's a skill too. And as you become robust in that, what will become completely and frighteningly, terrifyingly aware of is that there are all kinds of kryptonite, and there's all kinds of things that you're not amazing at. And it's
Ah,
well,
exactly.
how do you do it? How do you climb the mountain when there's
Yes.
a pebble in your shoe preventing you from achieving the big goals?
Yes.
So, just like large organizations have a board of directors,
Mm.
you can have your advisory board. And your
Mm.
advisory board is made up of three different types of experts.
Okay.
All, just to make sure that you have what you need personally are your emotional advisors. And there are two different types of emotional advisors. There
Mm.
are those people, maybe your friend even, who you call or your relative you call, and they tell you you are right all the time. It's amazing. You are right, and the whole world is wrong. What's wrong with the whole world? And it's so
Uh-huh.
great and inspiring and empowering to know that you've got somebody on your team no matter what.
No matter what, right?
And
Yes.
then you need a little slightly different type of emotional advisor who's totally on your team and who's totally gung ho and be like, you're right. But really, the truth is, can you see this from a different perspective? Consider the
Mm.
other side of this. What are you reflecting?
Yes.
And those are very different people. Those two different
Is that
types of
like the devil's advocate? Because the first one, the emotional advisor that just rah-rahs you all the time, and I
Mhm.
do tell them that instead of saying, "What's wrong with me? What's
Right.
right about this that I'm not getting?" is usually the question I tell them to answer. What's
Right.
right about this that I'm not getting? And asking the universe for a bigger answer for that, right? Because that was also almost for the second emotional advisor, because maybe you're looking at it from, like the elephant's head and tail. You see the
Right.
tail, but you don't see the head. So it's
Right.
like you can't see the front of the elephant because you're on the behind, right?
Well, you're actually very good about that. And you're an
Yep,
expert teacher on that because
yep.
you say, rather than looking at the problems, let's look at the solutions, the opportunities, the abundance that this can create.
Yes.
So yeah, that is definitely one of your superpowers too. Okay, so we have our emotional advisors.
Okay.
The next set are subject matter experts because one person cannot be your everything.
Yes.
And then it's a matter of seeing what you do know and identifying what you don't know. And yes, you could probably do it on your own, as we referred before, but it might take you years and you might
Years
lose opportunities. And
and
it
a lot
might,
of money.
and a lot of money, and there could be a
Mm-hmm.
lot of pitfalls and obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
So there comes a time when, like one of my clients says to me repeatedly, your hindsight gives me foresight. And I'm like,
Yes.
I gotcha. And so, I mean, that's abundance to me that I get the
Yes.
opportunity to, shine the light on a clear, open path for someone else so they can expedite their success.
Mm,
Um, so the
beautiful.
subject matter experts are those people who have the experience, the knowledge, the know-how, the
Mm.
talent that you don't necessarily need to go back to school and get, because
Right.
that's going to take you, even if you could do it and you would do it, it's going to take you years and then to apply it into what you need right now.
Mm,
So, super simple. I do not know how to install internet into my home.
mm,
Hire someone to do that. And that's going to be much better than me going to school to figure that out.
mm-hmm.
I could hire someone to fix my car so
Yes.
that I can maintain my car just fine. But if there's a real issue, I'm going to have somebody else with the proper equipment who can take care of the big stuff.
Yes.
I mean, those are really diverse, options, but it's who's going to help me unblock my potential and clear the blocks. I need the human MRI for that. Who can help, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
can help me figure out what I can't see in my own organization to uncover the talent and the treasure that's going to make revenue that I would never have known to look for? You're going to come to me for that. So
Exactly.
this is the subject matter experts section of
Mm-hmm.
your advisory board. And as you list the people you know or people you know who have this talent, that's how you're going to start building this. And then the third group are your accountability experts
Mm-hmm.
and people who will leverage their position to help you succeed.
Yes.
And these are the people who are actually going to help bring that abundance into you by clearing away the things that
Mm-hmm.
could be a problem and ensuring that you have the resource and revenue and enthusiasm for the long run to make it happen. So
Yes.
that's how you build an advisory board of your very own. And it doesn't cost you anything.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Perfect. Thank you for that. So, how do they connect with you, Michelle? Because I'm sure there are lots of HR managers and some CEOs that are watching the show. And they do believe in a little bit of the woo woo, but they also believe that when they take the right action with the right mentor and the right coach, anything is possible, right? We are here for infinite possibilities. That's how I share my gifts with others, because you don't know who's going to lead you to the next person, but you got to be
Right.
open to that possibility. So let them know how to connect with you.
So to connect with me, you can reach me very simply at lightthesparklady@gmail.com. lightthesparklady@gmail.com. And just let me know that you are ready to have a conversation to figure out how to spark the talent, ignite winning teams, and create valuable results in your organization. And I am ready to help you succeed.
Okay. Awesome. And even the small business owners, or maybe they have a middle-sized business, can also connect with you. This is a free call, right? To
This is
be
a
able
free
to,
call. It's a
it's a call.
consultative call. On
Yes.
that call, we're going to make things happen. There's no time to waste. When you
Yeah.
present a situation to me, it is impossible for me to not help you find what you're looking for. So we can get real results even
Mm-hmm.
on that free call. It's worth the time. So
Yeah.
just connect with me at lightthesparklady@gmail.com. And if you're interested in having a free consultation, I will put you on my schedule and we can make it happen. And the question I'm going to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
be prepared. How can I help you succeed? Because it is
Okay.
a big responsibility to decide, am I actually ready for success?
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty
Yes,
of
I know.
people who might be afraid of failure, but
But
fearing success is a reality too. So
yes,
when
yes.
you call, be ready because we're going to put the work in and we're going to make it happen.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to bring Amy now, because I think there are some audience that want to ask certain questions or they need some clarification. So
Yeah.
Amy, let me see. Yay, Amy's here. So let me
Yes.
see.
Hello, ladies, and thank you, Michelle. That was a lot of great information. Lisa does ask, she missed the third emotional advisor. Would you mind repeating who that was again?
The three advisors for
Yeah,
your
so let
advisory
me tell
board.
you about the emotional advisory board, really high level, real quick. And I've got so much to share because it's really based on a relationship spiral and who you bring in close to you in your circle of trust and how to recalibrate relationships. So the
Mhm.
people you want to bring into your advisory board are emotional advisors. And there are two types: the ones who say you're always right all the time, and the others that say, wow, that sounds really challenging. Get over it. Let's make stuff
Mm.
happen. So, the emotional advisors, then there are the subject matter experts. And you can't get milk from the Comcast guy. So, it's a super ninja skill to make sure you're asking the right person the right questions. And when
Yes.
you get this abundance of information and knowledge, Know when you've reached the end of that, so you're not asking the wrong person the right question. Remember how I was saying do the right thing right?
Yes.
You don't want to do the wrong thing right, and you don't want to do the right thing wrong. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing. You don't want to ask the wrong person the right question. You don't want to ask the wrong question to the right person. So I can help you with those super ninja skills on how to ask the right questions to the right people to only get the answers that you need. And this is all about decision making. And I can help you with decision making in like 3 easy steps. So we have our emotional advisors, we have our subject matter experts, and you're looking for the third one. And these are your accountability partners and your leverage partners. So your accountability partners are the people who will help remind you of the big picture and why it's worth staying on your goal. And your leverage partners are those people who will actually leverage their position to help you succeed, and they have your best interest in mind.
Awesome.
And if you
Perfect.
want more, connect with me. I've got a workshop on it, and I can send you a free sheet, or I can bring you into a free workshop, no problem.
Do you mind sharing with the group, Michelle, what is that free workshop? And then Amy can type it in the chat.
So the workshop is absolutely building your advisory board, just like a business has a board of directors, you can have an advisory board.
Perfect. Okay. And do you know when you're doing it already?
It's a recorded workshop. I can deliver it right out to you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. That would be great. So if you can post that on our Human MRI Facebook page, that would be amazing.
Okay. Is there a special link for that, Michelle?
So you can just email me at lightthesparklady@gmail.com. You can go to my Facebook page at Light the Spark Lady.
Awesome.
But just email me is the best connection right now.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to have fun with the audience just because we are still have some time. How would you like to play with really feeling if abundance is really for you?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Is this like the game show?
Let's do all that.
There's abundance right for you right now. Come on down.
Now, because as you notice, and you mentioned this, that some people have a fear of success over a fear of failure. And that's very real. Just for me, when I was deciding, should I actually make more money or should I just be content? Because the spiritual teachings I learned in the past, or whatever programs I learned, was you should be content and happy now because you're fine. You know, your life is good. You got your family, you got a nice home, you got nice cars. That's it, right? Like, just be content. It's almost putting a lid on my head saying, don't ask for more abundance. It's like, is that a crime now to ask for abundance?
So I love in the bottle reference. It made me think like you were a genie in the bottle and there was a cap on it.
I know. I was like, I want to get out. Get out.
You can't. But if you open the cap, then you can not only escape the confines of the bottle, but now you're able to help so many other people.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we're going to do some games. This is a little game because I want you to feel what it's like to really have your space, right? Because it's just all about your capacity and your ability to have your space. Because since the pandemic and the lockdowns, I don't know how many lockdowns we're going to have over the next 5 to 10 years. What's going to happen is we need to create our own space and our own, I call it financial resilience and economy. Because if we're going to wait for our government to tell us when to open and when to close, it's not going to happen, you guys. You're going to be under a lot of fear and under a lot of stress and overwhelm. So, Amy, go ahead and we're going to do the grounding again. And then I'm going to add the exercise of when you actually start receiving abundance and in the form of money, I want you to feel what's happening to your body because your physiology, right, your organs, your nervous system, it's going to tell you a lot of things. So if you have some blocks somewhere in your field, you're going to feel something very, very uncomfortable, which is just part of growing. Because you know how can a rubber band work? Well, you got to stretch it, right? if you're not stretched out to the limit. That's why, Michelle, those people react in emergency. And sometimes that's actually their awakening process spiritually, because that's the only way that people would do something is when they are in a form of emergency. Because they're fed up, right? Finally, they're like, I'm fed up with this drama.
Right.
Is there anything else in life aside from this? Here we go. All right. So let's bring in, I'm going to ask you to unplug your old golden tube. So there's this imaginary tube that goes from your tailbone and it goes all the way down to the center of the earth. But this is about 4,000 miles below. So I want you to just feel or see or sense if it's a skinny tube for you, or if it's big, or is it congested? Like, how does it feel? So I want you to pay attention. This is your old tube. You've been walking around with this tube, which actually determines how much money you can let in and out of your life. So pay attention to the density, the quality, and how small or how big it is. And now you're going to unplug yourself from that flexible tube. So unplug it from the tailbone, roll it up, unplug it from the earth, put it in a golden case. Let's put a few golden rose bombs inside, throw it away into the ocean for explosion and ground the particles. So now I want you to create a brand new golden tube for your use. This is for your life and your business, and we're going to bring it all the way down again, 4,000 miles below. So if you know you have a lot of stuff to process, you could expand it. It's your own will. You have control over this. How far can you make it? You could make it as wide as your hips if you like. The inside is hollow and the outside is gold. And let's bring that down 4,000 miles below. And we're going to breathe in and out of our nose, keeping the tip of our tongue at the roof of our mouth. So really feel like your feet, the feet chakra is opening up. The ball of your first and second toes, it's like a camera lens. Just open that up. And then we're going to connect to God, divine source, universe, however you want to call it. But think of a beam of light going upward. And it's going to the earth, the very edge of it, the planets, the universe, the galaxy, all the way to the angels, and all the way where creation started. I want you to access pure divine energy and then bring it to you. And just feel what it's like. Are you able to receive the light? Like there's like a healing stream of grace that you can just release everything else in the past that has bothered you. So with every inhale, bring in the blessings, and with every exhale, just release anything heavy, false, untrue about your business or about yourself. So any negative thoughts, because I just learned from a teacher today that there's a lot of negative thoughts. Well, it's all over the internet, right? But we now can release it. Let's give ourselves the opportunity to release it, and then bring a golden bubble around you. It's about 18 inches around you, and let the golden shower seal any kind of holes. Maybe you have some money leaks. There's some boundary issues you've had that you couldn't say no. And we're just going to bring attention to your body. And breathe. So we're breathing in blue and we're breathing out red. Okay, let's just everyone settle down, because I know a lot of you are doing other things and you just want to be here present with us. So this is a quick exercise to see how you receive, because money is never like I have to do things to get ahead. It's always, what can I receive? So we're going to imagine that you are receiving money from the heavens. So it's either gold coins, unless that hurts, or gold paper, whatever feels good to you. I want you to feel what it's like if God's giving you free blessings. So just pay attention, and you can put on the chat later, like, how does it feel when you actually started feeling that, when you were receiving from the heavens? And I'll give you the interpretation in a bit here, just for fun. Okay, so how does it feel when the money comes from the earth and it comes up to you? It like rises up to actually be all over your feet. How does that feel? Okay. Now I want you to bring the money, this golden money, from the right side, coming towards you. I hear birds singing. It's interesting. Okay. Now I want you to bring money or golden showers from the left side of you. Good. Now you want money coming from the front. Just bring it in. Just bring it in front of you. Bring it to you. Let's see what happens. And then now I want you to bring money from behind you. So I want everyone to just lock in whatever good feeling you have with your thumb and index finger so that you can remember, your brain can remember how to bring about this abundance at any time, because that's what we're talking about, right? How do we unblock our potential when we don't have clutter to receive? But if you do have some nigglies with a lot of things, then it's going to be very difficult to receive. So with everyone in the audience, I want you to just type in the chat when you started feeling this money coming from whatever direction it is. What did you notice? Like maybe what was the first thing that came into your head? And Amy, please read some of the comments that we have here.
Lisa says she feels strong and stable and that she's surrounded by money.
Yes, very good. And that's a good feeling. That's, Lisa, go ahead and connect the thumb and index finger. And every time you're feeling like your head saying, I don't have enough money, you look at the bank account, it's kind of negative or overdraft or, it's dwindling down, then you need to bring back this feeling, this emotion, so that the universe can hear you and within 17 seconds deliver this to you. Does that make sense, everyone? Because if you are in a desperate mode and you go out there and start selling whatever it is, products or service, they're going to feel a lot of people are awake, okay? So even if you're saying you're abundant, but inside you're like, not really, because I'm looking at my bank account and it's about to go down, they're going to see that disconnect, that we call that energy dissonance. It's like it's in conflict with what you're saying, so they're not going to hear you. And you sound like desperate, even if you're saying the opposite, because that's the energy behind it, right? The feeling, the heart chakra, unfortunately, is the biggest energy center, not your head. It doesn't matter what you say and what you're thinking. It's your heart is telling you, okay? All right, go ahead and share with us other people's comments.
Mm-hmm. Shifra says, how beautiful money looks in gold paper. She loves it.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Venus started to get teary-eyed. Her feet felt heavy, same as her shoulder, and she feels overwhelmed.
There, yes. So Venus, keep on breathing deeply, because when you're overwhelmed, right, it's almost like, well, what do you do when you're overwhelmed? It's either do you shut down, do you not do anything, or you just push it away. Sometimes we push money away and we don't know we're doing it because you're already overwhelmed. It's like up to the brim. So it's like, I can't take it anymore. Like, let's not do this. So let's breathe all of that overwhelm. Sit with it. Don't try to stop it. You gotta like be in that emotion and move through it. Okay. Anybody else who made a comment?
Yes. Lauren says her heart feels full and gratefulness overflows. Happiness And just realize that today's payday.
Woo-hoo, Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren. That is so cool. All right. Next.
Catherine is asking, what do I do with all of the money?
All right. Let's answer that because this is fun. Okay. So a lot of us, the reason why we don't receive the six figures, like 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, even, when you cross seven figures, is because you don't know what to do with it. So go ahead, Catherine. And for those of you who don't know what to do with that money, let's write it down on paper. The reason why we get overwhelmed is sometimes we're in our heads. And if we could just move this energy into the paper, what is it, Catherine, that you really love to do? Because that's what we're going to do, right? Time, you can never take back time, but money, you can always make it. Oh, we can help Catherine spend it, Laura said. Yes. So Catherine, write down what really excites you. Do you like vacations? Do you like to travel? Do you like to hang out with your family? Like, do you have to have time with them? Like, what is it that really makes your heart sing? So I'll share with you before Catherine types all her answers, right? So that was my dilemma last week. And then I said, but wait, it would be nice if I can actually have a housekeeper come twice a month instead of once a month. So I wrote that down. When I have more money, this is what's going to happen. Or I go, oh, actually, I can hire a stylist, like to dress me up with wardrobes because I just wear whatever I like to wear. But then I remember my brother, who's a videographer, said, when you're on TV, please don't repeat the same outfit. And I go, why? Now I have to buy those things all the time. Yeah, because he said, because people are watching you. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that they're doing that, right? So, okay. Catherine answered, I think. What do you do with all this money?
She's going to traveling,
okay,
family getting together.
Family get
together. You have more freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, good. It's true because if you decide, right, what's your boundary for the time that you're going to give to your business and your family, then definitely it can start doing that, right? So let's do another exercise for I'm sure a lot of you have this concern, like, what do I do with all the money? It's true. We don't need a lot of things as human beings, if you think about it, right? We just need to have a roof over our head, make sure we have that, a car or a vehicle that takes us from point A to point B. And then, of course, we need food, right? Clothing. So the basic needs. So if you add that up, you don't need $1 million for all that, right? Hence, some of the thoughts that we have, if we came from a poverty, maybe poor or middle class family, it's like, why do you want more? Isn't this enough? Why you're not content? Maybe that their desire is not the same as yours. Their container and capacity is not as big as yours. And even in the Bible, right? Jesus Christ gave like 1 talent, 5 talents, 10 talents. Everybody has a different purpose in this life. So you can't tell someone, well, you can't want that or you can't have that because you shouldn't have that because all of us here are also poor or middle class. No one, that wasn't on the Bible either. It's about abundance, right? So you decide what is right for you and allow the other person to dream about what's right for them because that's what they would like to have, right? So we're going to do the second part of the exercise. So let's do it all together. So do you remember all this money? So close your eyes and you are surrounded because this is continuous, right? Heaven, down from the earth to the right, left, front, and back. And by the way, these are the meanings. So the blessings from higher up are those unexpected money blessings. I'm going to have you create a container for each of the money that's coming down, up, sideways, forward, backward to you. And you're going to label them, right? Some of you like travel. That's your travel jar or travel container. Some of you want more time with family, a new house, a new car, maybe help, support, bringing the team together, How about your business, right? What are you going to give back to your business because it's giving you money? So the one from the top is blessings from above. The one from below is usually, you know how the farmers till the soil? Anything that you physically do with your hands, that's the equal exchange for that. Like the earth will give you that. The one on the right are the decisions you make or not make. And the one on the left is just being a female, receiving what is given to you. The one from the front are these future clients that you're going to have. And the one in the back are those people that owe you money. It's almost like a karmic debt of some sort that they need to repay you, but they've been looking for you and you don't know how to ask. So now it's time for you to receive everything from every angle and then start organizing your money now. So the piles of money that came down a while ago and whatever is coming down, I want you to create like a beautiful, like a tube to channel it properly. Perhaps you need a savings account. I call it a fun account, right? I have something for vacation, but I also have something just for fun, like every 30 days that I spend for myself, for my self-care. So that's the allocation of each of this golden money coming down makes a huge difference in the way you feel. Because now if you know exactly where to put them, I even created a SEP IRA for me, right? So because I wanted to make sure my present, my past, whatever past I need to put away and pay back, done. Present, I have my living expenses and everything I need right now for the team and for my company, and future for retirement or for my fun things when I don't feel like working anymore. That's it. So I have all of these containers and the money comes and it's funneled properly. So I don't have to think about it. It just goes in those places. And I want you to, again, connect your thumb and index finger because you are in full control of your life. You know exactly where things are and you're very good at managing money because you have a lot coming to you, but you know exactly how to handle it. All right. And then we just thank this energy that we all shared today because it's wonderfully magnificent. It opened us to the flow of life, to abundance, because now we have the fullest potential possible. And all we got to do is be that confident self when we step out of our house, right? And when we talk on the phone, because we know that the right person is waiting for us, because they're ready for all of us. And all we have to do is just be ourselves and receive. So do you see what I'm saying? If you are in the abundant place, it's okay to say no if it's not the right client, because they're not for you. If they're not for you and you have set those standards for yourself in your business, it's okay to say no because somebody else will help them because the universe is abundant. Lauren, the money coming from the right means the money that our male side has decided to receive or not receive. So either we decide or not decide to take something. That's decision making is usually on the right side. So when you say no to someone or someone says no to you, it just means there's another one waiting for you that's better than that. So I always would pass up good to find better, or, I don't settle for just good. I just like great and I like better. How does it get better than this, right? All right. Does that help everyone? Can you please type on the chat how you felt after you have managed and organized and allocated your funds properly? How did that make you feel? Make sure you guys really connect that, because anytime you're feeling overwhelmed, don't know what to do, make sure you can go back to these exercises, and I think it would help you a lot. All right. Well, for anyone that is willing to connect with me or would like to figure out what kind of blocks they have, right, in money or energy, you can go to overwhelm911.com, and I would be more than happy to help you out. I couldn't get my stuff to work. Sorry, Amy. Go ahead and just type that in, just because my computer is not cooperating right now. All right. Well, I want to thank Michelle, because Michelle, thank you so much for being here today.
My
We love
pleasure.
your presentation, and how do you feel, Michelle? You're all relaxed.
I am. I feel empowered. I'm actually going on to walk a red carpet right now
Oh my God.
for the new management blueprint, my new book that's just come out.
Oh
So
my
I'm very
goodness.
excited, and now I'm all ready to receive the abundance that
Yes.
that amazing experience has to offer. I'm very much looking forward to all of you connecting with me to see how I can help you succeed.
Yes. And again, I'm going to click the link for her. It's called lightthesparklady@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching today. And next week, watch out for this powerhouse we are going to interview. And I would love for all of you to be there. So thank you so much again, Michelle. Thank you, Amy, for facilitating. And everyone have a great day.
Yay! Thank you. Talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Vivian.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay.